your question is, why do we use Latin, right, in most of the spheres of education? So we are talking about the legal language. Most of it is Latin. So here's the backstory. Our education system, as you know it today, where did it start? I mean, you studied arithmetic, you studied science, philosophy, and all this. Where did this start?
In Latin.
All right, so our educational system has its roots in the Greek Empire. I don't know if you guys know this. There was a time when the Greek Empire was the superpower in this world, like what America is like today. So the Greeks are the ones who started our Western education as you know it today, right? So they started philosophy. That's why you find out that most philosophers that you find in the education system are Greek. I'm sure you've heard about philosophers like Plato. Plato was Greek. Aristotle was Greek. Did you do Pythagoras in matric? Pythagoras theory? Pythagoras was Greek. Socrates was Greek. So they started this Western education, right? And then what then happened was, when the Greek Empire collapsed, the Roman Empire took over as the superpower. And the Roman Empire was stretching across Europe to Africa and all parts of the world. The Roman Empire was in charge. Do you see? But they did not destroy the Greek system of education. What they did was they adopted the Greek system of education. They did not destroy the library. Do you see that? Now my question to you is, which language was the official language in the Roman Empire? Latin. You're right. Latin was the official language in the Roman Empire for centuries. I don't know, you guys, do you understand how the Romans influenced our civilization? Do you get it? Okay, let me talk about what you know. Christianity was influenced heavily by the Romans. Are you aware of that? Okay, let's bring it. You guys are Christians, right? When Jesus came to the earth, which state or which country was he in? Where was he born?
In the Free State.
He was born in Bethlehem. And where is Bethlehem? Not the Bethlehem in Free State. No. He was in Israel, right? Israel was under the Roman Empire. Are you aware of that? This is why when Jesus was being tried, when he was brought before the courts, he was brought before who? There's a guy who washed his hands. Who was that guy?
There's a hymn.
Pontius who? Pilato. This Christian. Pilato. Right. Pilato. Who was Pilato?
He was a king.
Pilate. Pilato was a governor, a Roman governor in charge of that territory. Do you get it? So Israel was under the Romans. So when Jesus left, Israel was still a colony of the Romans, right? He left disciples, apostles, right? Who were preaching the gospel. Which apostles do you remember who preached after Jesus left? That he left behind. Apostle who? Apostle Paul, right? Yes, Apostle Paul actually was the major apostle because he wrote 2/3 of the New Testament. So Apostle Paul, Apostle Peter, Apostle so and so on, Bartholomew, Philippi, and so on. But it was not allowed. Remember that it was not allowed to preach in the Roman Empire. That's why all the apostles were killed. Are you aware of that? There's only one apostle out of the 11 or 12 who were not killed. How did Peter die, for instance? I need you guys to claim to be Christians. How did Peter die? Yeah.
I think where we headed.
Yes. Peter was crucified. Remember that?
But upside down.
He said, thank you. He said, don't crucify me the way you crucified my Lord.
Yeah.
Rather crucify me upside down.
Yeah.
Only one apostle died a natural death. Who was this?
Was it John?
John. Clippings for him. John. Well done. This one, this one, she's going to have a front seat in heaven. This one.
Now you play. The
Yeah.
Bible practice like you preach.
Yolanda and company, they'll bet the back seat, you know. In heaven.
Yes, yes.
I won't even go.
It's me.
They will just tell me at the
Right. But here's my point. I'm talking about how the Romans influenced us from the education system, even to our law. If you look at South African law, by the way, it has its roots in the Roman Dutch law, which means it was influenced by the Roman Empire. Do you know that the calendar that you guys are using today is a Roman calendar? Are you aware of that? You don't know that? Sunday means what?
Day of rest.
No. Sunday in Roman means sun god, because they are worshipping the sun. Saturday, they are worshipping planet Saturn.
Really?
Monday, they are worshipping the moon. So this calendar is a Roman calendar. All the days of the week are dedicated to Roman gods. And all the months from January, February, they are all dedicated to who? To Roman gods. You don't know
They've got a
that.
lot of it.
That's why if you go to Israel today, they do not use this calendar. They have a Jewish calendar. If you go to China, they have a Chinese calendar. Ethiopia, they have an Ethiopian calendar. Tina, we are influenced by the Romans that you don't even realize.
That is crazy.
Our education system was Greek, you know. Our law is Roman, right? Christianity was influenced by the Romans. So when these apostles were preaching, it was not allowed. But later on, Christianity began to gain momentum in the Roman Empire, such that there was a Roman Pope who became a Christian. Which Pope was this? Which leader, Roman leader was this? Emperor. Which emperor was this?
Wasn't it Nicodemus?
No, it was Constantine. Constantine now became a Christian as a Roman emperor, and then he said, all religion now in the Roman Empire must be led by the church. Then a church was established. Which church was? Clapping for her. Roman Catholic Church. All the churches, all the churches that you go to now, they came from the Catholic. Do you know that? All of them. I don't
The Methodists.
even Methodists. Those they broke away. They said no, the Catholics are not interpreting the Bible correctly.
Yeah.
They broke away.
Like, why is Mother Mary then?
They broke away. And the first one to break away from the Roman Catholic Church was Martin Luther King, the cynic. He started what? Lutheran.
Yeah, okay, it's not called.
The Dutch moved away. Dutch reform. The Adventists said no, the Catholics are not doing right. They are not worship. They are not observing the seventh day. They moved out, and then they started the Adventists. Do you see how the Romans influenced us? When you graduated, what were you wearing on your graduation day?
Gown thingy.
Where did that come from? Who was wearing gowns?
There was some guy who was wearing a red one with like a hat.
The Romans. Our education is Greek and Roman.
And then the hat.
It's that type of knowledge. It was Roman or Greek. Even in Parliament, look at how they dress in Parliament.
Except if they get it.
Look at the Parliament. Where did the Parliament system come from? The Romans. They had the Senate, where they were debating laws and things like that. So, do you see how the Romans influenced us?
I've learned a lot.
Me as well.
Why do you think Jewish people, Israelites, they don't believe in Christ? They don't say that Jesus was the Messiah. It's because they were under the Roman Empire, right? And they were expecting a Jesus who was going to fight against the Romans and they become independent. So when Jesus came, look at him. He was riding a donkey. He was born of poor people. He did not care about earthly things. So they were disappointed. They said, no, he's not the Messiah. We are waiting for another Messiah. Up to this day, the Jewish people are still waiting for what? The Messiah. But the
Then
Bible,
why do they walk when they go to this
what do they?
synagogue thingy?
Yeah, they're still doing the old
Yeah, they still do the old.
old stuff. But Christ came with a new philosophy, new way of worship, New Testament, and so on. Do you see that? So we are heavily influenced by the Romans. Right.
Crazy.